Welcome back to Current Miami. We're here at Melinda's in the open air studio, and we are here with Ashley Peeler, who's a wellness coach. So what are we talking about today specifically?
So, pre-pandemic, everyone was working on whatever they were doing, working out, eating well, having a mindfulness practice, and now most of us, except perhaps in Miami, we're all indoors. And so I've created a fitness program. It's a 6-week course, which will include exercise, nutrition, mindfulness, and prevention. For me, those are the 4 ideal pillars of wellness. And what sets me apart from all these other fitness people online, who offer this 4-week course, the 6-week course, is that I really focus on the prevention aspect of things. So perhaps you've been working out, particularly for women, you've been working out all your life, you've been eating well, you have a baby, or maybe you don't have a baby, but all of a sudden you're starting to gain weight or you can't lose weight. And this might not have anything to do with your exercise or your diet. It actually might have to do with the toxic exposure in your house.
Toxic exposure?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So we have about, I would say we're exposed to on average 150 chemicals a day. They are in our personal care products. They're also in our food. They're in our furniture, they're in our cleaning products, and a lot of people just don't know that these chemicals are actually contributing to their weight gain or their problem of weight loss.
So we have these toxic chemicals, yet at the same time, people live longer today than ever before in history. How do you explain that kind of dichotomy?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Aaron, because actually studies are showing now that this generation is the first generation that is not going to outlive the last generation. The babies that are being born right now are not being called pandemic babies or COVID babies. They're actually being called Roundup babies, because these babies are being born and 1 out of every 5 children have an autoimmune disorder. That's alarming.
And you think that has to do with chemicals?
Of course. Endocrine disruptors, that is a synthetic hormone that's made in things such as fragrance, flame retardants, pesticides. They all have this petroleum-based chemical that affects your endocrine system. And what your endocrine system does is it's responsible for your metabolism, it's responsible for your mood and behavior, it's responsible for your reproductive organs and your immune system. So it's one of the most important systems in your body.
So are there more chemicals now than there were, for instance, when I was born?
Yes, thousands more. And not only that, we now know the greenwash effect. So you see BPA-free plastic or phthalate-free fragrance. Well, behind BPA, there's BPE, there's BPS. Behind phthalates, there are so many different types of endocrine disruptors. And chemicals, they need this chemical in order to bind a fragrance together. They need this chemical in order to bind plastic together. So it's really important for chemical or manufacturers to use an endocrine disruptor because it's cheap and it makes things solid. So that's what we're up against right now.
All right, so what do you suggest?
So I suggest that you, sign up for my 6-week program.
Oh, are we selling? I usually
No.
don't sell on these things. I don't know what's going down. She's like pitching. All right.
No, I'm just saying you can also call me for a discovery call. Now I'm not hosting public seminars. I do offer that content on my social media feeds. But like I said, this is the real difference between the program that I'm offering is because we are going to look at the preventative aspect of things. Regardless if you're doing exercise and nutrition, there are definitely things you want to look at. That is stress hormones, so the mindfulness aspect as well, but the preventative aspect, the exposure to daily chemicals, is not only having a detrimental effect on your health, but it's having a detrimental effect on your performance with exercise and nutrition.
All right, I see that as I age and I put on the weight. I thought it was maybe just me getting older, but you know what? It has to be chemicals. It can't be me getting older. But I joke, but it's serious. No, and I understand that we have more chemicals now than ever, and it's used, and it's a big part of consumerism. How does this work with consumerism? Are you now becoming are you an anti-consumerist?
Not at all. We have purchasing power. We are lucky. We live in a privileged society where we have conventional food, we have organic food, we have toxic-free products, we have green beauty products. So in this day and age, it's all about understanding that knowledge is wealth and that you do have choices. So you can make mindful choices that aren't even that much more expensive than the regular alternative.
So the choice is ours. You're not suggesting that the government come in some sort of authoritarian way and make illegal products that you deem unhealthy. Is that?
I will say that we definitely are missing a regulatory body to do that, but luckily we do have a nonprofit organization called the Environmental Working Group, and they do a stellar job. It's ewg.org. You can check your household cleaners, you can check your beauty products, you can check your food. Not everything's on it, but a lot. And they also offer a list called the Clean 15, which are conventional fruits and vegetables you can purchase that have less pesticide residue on them. And they also do a list called the Dirty Dozen, which outlines fruit and vegetables that are dangerous and what you want to buy organic always, so that you don't have this exposure to pesticides, because those pesticides build up in your body, and in addition to causing heavy metal poisoning, they also have endocrine disruptors in them, so you want to avoid it at all costs.
All right, so that's it. So there's a nonprofit group that oversees this, but you're definitely not opposed to higher regulations from the government.
Sure. I mean, there are so many regulations that are outdated that we need to focus on, but right now, knowledge, like I said, is wealth. So if you know that these products are dangerous, then you get an option to buy something else.
That's
so
right.
that is your choice. Now, there are some things we can't control. We can't control, for example, the quality of our municipal water, but we can control what type of filter we buy.